It's a story. It's a story of a terrible thing that we all have thought we might have done.
No, it's what makes me fun. What my look, I'll just get on with it because we're wasting valuable time here. But basically, obviously, I was caught short in the Mackie D's car park, and like I definitely have. I'm an old hand at this. I know I've pissed in so many different kinds of scenarios. I've had 3 kids. I would walk down the road pissing because that's where I've already literally just shit myself in a room full of strangers. Like there is no lower that I can go. So anyway, that was all grand. I had a thermos flask. Thought I had it here beside me and I could show you just for size, but this is a similarly sized vessel. And like, I think fair balls to me because, you know, I had 3 kids that I was looking after in this car park. Now, I just wanted them to not be in the car because I'd never hear the fucking end of it if they were in the car while I was trying to do such a thing. So I had parked them outside the car on a very, very classy little picnic of McDonald's just at the edge of the car park. Did have the baby in the car with me. Got my receptacle, the thermos, and now bearing in mind, just in terms of science, I'd already basically put 2 of the thermoses worth of coffee into my body, so it was
that was not a good idea
in terms of volume. This was never going to work. So anyway, pissed in the jar, my jar overfloweth, of course. All I could hear, and I can still hear it so vividly in my mind's eye, is the sound of that piss just absolutely hammering it down on top of my pleather seat below me.
At least it was pleather.
Look, exactly. Wipe clean. I'm a professional. I know to have a pleather seat in a car at this stage in the game. Anyway, it's grand. I was like, well, this is just another one for Mother Pod when we go back to recording, which we will. Nobody shout at us from the comments, but we will be going back to recording. So anyway, I used to
work with someone whose fetish was for people to piss on her in the car. That is
specific location.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. Don't spread rumors, but I've heard of the pissing fetish before. But like in the car.
Yeah, like the water sports is well known. In the car. Oh, they lived in a car?
Was really nice.
Now, just a quick poll on the side here. Squirting. Piss or some sort of femcum?
It's fem. What do you mean? Femcum.
Piss. I'm with piss.
It's femcum.
It's femcum, lads.
Guys, where are the fucking standards gone from this podcast? It's on the floor.
Anyway, right, look.
Not femcum.
As usual, this is what I was put on earth to do, is have something kind of vaguely horrific happen to me, and then I parlay it into lols for others.
That's all you can do, isn't it?
I'm a gem. And anyway, so texted, obviously, me and Jen and Louise's ma'am WhatsApp group, and just was like, guys, in East Wall, Mackie D's car park, trying to dispose of a large overflowing jar of piss. What the fuck is 2020? Louise, it's hell on earth. Jen, you fair? Jen was like, just fuck the whole thing out the window while speed screeching out of the car park.
Good suggestion, yeah.
Absolutely. Pretty much what I did was just pour it I said, I'll do the quote from Johnny Depp in Blow, where it's like, if you're walking through an airport with like 10 kilos of coke, just pretend like you're not. Mm-hmm. So I just walked over with probably 500 mils of steaming piss and just pretended I wasn't, just pretended it was any old beverage that I was pouring out.
Yeah, that's the key. That is the key.
Perfect.
So then I put it up on my Instagram story, and this absolutely fantastic response.
Yeah.
So I put it up, and somebody DM'd me back.
Rotten. What the fuck is wrong with people?
Rotten. I put the caption, the pissues are getting bleaker and bleaker with nowhere to whiz out there. And then this gal goes, rotten. What the fuck is wrong with people?
She wasn't.
He was not intending to send that to me.
No, she didn't.
Was sending my story to a friend and wanted to say that.
I mean, she's not wrong.
I mean, she's clearly not wrong, but also, like, what are you, some fucking perfect bitch who doesn't have a bladder? Do you just not piss? Do you just fucking lay down, like, odorless pellets? Piss off.
Well, so I went deep on her then in terms of a stalk mode. She works for a fucking PR company. So
guys,
end her.
Like,
that's the end of your job.
Oh my God, lol. I
that
love Jen.
She's right.
Jen does this on my behalf. Like, do you remember that time some bitch emailed me?
I will fucking expose her right now. What's her name again?
Do not. Oh my God, I'm going to have palpitations. Please behave yourselves.
I'm trying to find...
Let's not go to war with the PR companies of Dublin.
Do it, Jen. Go on. They always ignore us. They're ignoring our existence.
It's a shit PR company anyways, Cass. There's only like one person or two people working there.
Oh,
they last tweeted in 2017.
Jesus, you went deep. Who's sharing the screen and why?
Oh, interesting. It's gone away.
I love that. So I wrote back, just desperate and no public jacks anywhere anymore. And the message has been seen.
Oh, and she's still following you, so did you check that?
I don't know.
Oh,
no, she is still following me, actually. Yeah.
No, she doesn't follow the creep or Mother of Pod.
Well, then she's not familiar with your content at all.
Fascinating.
So listen, lads, I have the most disgusting.
Come on, let's go.
And it's piss. It's okay. I think, can we all agree, no or yes, that piss is fem squirt? You're saying it's some kind of fem cum. Now, I've done a bit of research here, so.
Well, wait, what's the question? What's the exact question? Squirting. Yeah, when you come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. You know, if you ever watch it, it's definitely piss. Maybe like a small amount of like lubricational fluid. But the way it, like, even the word squirt, I mean, it's sort of giving you the idea. You ever see it on the porno? It's just loads of it, but it's 100% piss.
Okay.
Well, in porn, it's definitely like it's something else altogether.
But it looks kind of like it's got a kind of a slightly milky color, yeah.
Yeah, but they do all sorts of things. You know that great Channel 4 program, Mums Make Porn?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Eurotrash. And I was getting very excited. But
yes, Mums Make Porn.
It was wonderful. It was loads of moms who wanted to make like a porn that they'd be happy for their teenagers to watch. Obviously the least sexy thing in the world. But they were, they talked about all that kind of stuff, that they use like weird fluids. There was something else about men and the cum that they used, so like obviously just blocked it out for pure trauma.
Speaking of men,
my sorry.
Hello, Jo.
I just wanted to say about piss squirting. My ex tried to do it to me. And he said he'd been researching it, and he said that you have to get yourself to the point where
you need to piss.
Yeah, and then just let go. And I was like, well, then I'm just
pissing
on you.
Thank you. That's exactly what I believe.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could be wrong. So my particular story this week is it's just kind of like a factoids about, it's just called Cooking with Cum.
Ah, delish.
Because this is a thing. That is a thing. Oh God, I'm sorry, Sharon. I'm going to talk about cooking with cum, and you're holding your newborn. I feel hello, gorgeous. Yes, perfect. Please block him. I know. Thank you. So you want to hear some stuff about it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What led me down this path though was somebody had a story. Jen, somebody I follow had a story. Was served up as a kind of a suggested reading for her. And I was like, wonder what other weird books are out there. And there are so many fucking hilarious books available for you to buy. This one caught my eye earlier. Natural Bust Enlargement with Total Mind Power. How to use the other 90% of your mind to increase the size of your breasts.
Brilliant.
I mean, there's tons of them. Back to, first of all, this particular writer, Paul Fotenhor, can't pronounce his name right.
That was definitely it.
Well, you'll send
without a shadow of a doubt, you nailed it.
And you can try. I watched a YouTube video of this guy making some of his own food. Now, at first I was like, this is just a laugh present. This is just one of those gas gag books. And it is a gag book, but it's a fucking book. He's written 2 books. The first one was called, title, Natural Harvest, a collection of semen-based recipes. On the cover
it doesn't get much more organic than that.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of dressings. You could go do some good dressings.
Well, I obviously went deep into the reviews of this, but I just want to read, if I can bring up the blurb, because it's fucking amazing. Anyway, no, the reviews are brilliant. People angry, some of them, that it just feels as though he's after thinking the semen entry. And hang on, I'll bring up my favorite. I screenshotted a favorite. Listen, there's mad people everywhere. 4 out of 5 stars from this guy, Shane. Interesting, he says. I like how the semen can be mixed to create a better consistency. Love the different sauces that can be combined to make flavors to enhance various products. Also like the tips on producing more semen. Interesting, to say the least. 4 stars out of 5. This is a 5-star one from Yana. Fucking what a dope. For many years as a vegan, I've been searching for a more versatile alternative to protein. Thank God for this book. Or perhaps I'd still be looking. I get all the nutrients I need, and my husband has never been happier. There's a person here, right? The best. Then he wrote that book, and it's pretty straightforward. There's lots of, but it is a lot of sauces, as you say, subs. He also introduces, you know, those foam. You know, I think they make them when you're trying to whisk up. They're little electric whisk. So he dips into a shot glass, and then he electric whisks froths it into some kind of foam. So in his following book, Semenology, the bartenders, it's a bartender's handbook. It's a cocktail recipe book. So here he says, this is the ultimate handbook for mixologists looking for ingredients that go beyond pouring exotic fruit juices and rare spirits. Driven by commitment and passion for the freshly harvested ingredient, Semenology pushes the limits of classic bartending. Semen
pushes the limits.
Semen is often freshly available, mostly, especially behind most bar counters, and adds a personal touch to any cocktail. The connoisseur will appreciate learning how to mix selected spirits to enhance the delicate flavor of semen. The book provides useful tips that cover every detail of semenology, from mixing to presentation, harvesting, and storage advice. Fucking brilliant.
Sorry,
harvesting.
You don't need any visuals on harvesting.
There is, yeah. He talks about kind of a diet that would increase the volume. He talks about the different kind of, you know, textures and flavors. It's just fucking, like, there's obviously people in there taking it seriously, like the pissed off people who are just like, semen is clearly an afterthought here. I came here for some new recipes. Unhappy. This person, 2 stars out of 5. I was hoping for something that would actually use the strange texture and taste of semen to create interesting drinks. Instead, it primarily gave me just drinks that combined semen as an afterthought. I'm not buying a book on semen drinks because I want to cover up the taste or texture. I want to embrace it. Embrace it.
Embrace it.
Twice.
Oh, like she's like paleo. Like she, you know, the way, like she doesn't want to fuck with her semen. She just wants it like unadulterated.
But there's and like, you know, the way how some things are, we've also been somewhat
like
desensitized.
Not food. Yeah. Some things are not food.
Well, like it's the equivalent of like garnishing something with bits of your snot or in the edge of a glass or something. But he does, there's a lot of emphasis on, in interviews with him, the fact that you must tell people there is your semen in the food before they go ahead and eat it, because like, of course there's all the sexually transmitted diseases.
I know, it's like accepting all cookies except
yeah, exactly. Not the cum ones.
We use cum cookies.
There was, I remember, a terrible story that I wrote about when I worked for a popular women's website in Ireland that I shall not name.
Her.ie.
That's the one.
Tatler.
And it was a woman, a blogger called Zoe Stavry, who made sourdough from a starter she cultivated from her own vaginal yeast infection.
Oh, now that's lockdown goals.
That's fucking amazing. Now that is just amazingly kind of disgusting. But on another factoid, I was watching my most favorite program ever, QI, right? So it was a recent episode. Aisling Bea was on with this other comedian from Smack the Pony, whose name I can't remember, right? Anyway, they were
blonde one. The other one.
No,
we go through this every time.
Blonde one, maybe. They were talking about yeast infections at the time. And then she told this fucking amazing story of how she was traveling abroad somewhere, and I think wherever she was eating, it was, I don't know, the hygiene wasn't great. Anyway, she ended up with an illness, right? So she was at the doctor's, and so what had happened to her was she got thrush of the mind. She had a yeast infection in her brain.
It's called syphilis, is it?
Right?
Yeah, is it not?
No, entirely different. So this thrush, it was basically creating. She was drunk on her mind thrush. It was creating an alcohol. It was her body was
fermenting. Her brain was fermenting with the yeast.
100%. So apparently she was like just fully drunk for 6 months before they figured out what the fuck was wrong with her. She was like driving around and everything, and was just pissed. She was like, I was just foggy head. I mean, I was happy, but I was foggy. Always a little, isn't that fascinating? Anyway.
Fascinating.
And
can we talk about our shared, I'm sorry. I'm
definitely not here.
I'm trying to make really meaningful eye contact with Jen through a Zoom, and it's really hard. Like our shared.
I think we've told this story on the Creep Drive before, and we were at will we tell it?
Well, you have to now, because you've just teed up talking about yeast infections into, will we tell our shared story of so I don't know this story, and I'm assuming you somehow each contracted yeast infections from the same source.
Well, actually, we could
we really could have
stopped, but we were at, you tell it, so
I cannot. I think
I'll tell it. We were at a girls' holiday, and we were doing, in the morning, and we were getting all the gear out of the fridge for a nice breakfast. Delicious. We had lovely fruits and bits of
granola, a few sausages.
Delicious, right? Because all the female, the girls. Anyway, it was great.
Treat yourself.
So there was a lovely big vat then of the natural yogurt.
There was a bit of Bucks Fizz. Jen made it from a new book she had recently acquired. Oh, okay. So anyway, go on.
So natural yogurt pot sitting in the middle of the table, which had come from the fridge, pre-opened. Bit of what do you call that, clean film over the top. So we were about to lash into it when one of our mates was like, wait now, that's my vagina yogurt, don't be putting that in your granola. And we all went, excuse me, what are you saying to us now? So anyway, that's a thing that people, so why is it on the table? Because she'd had it in the fridge. I'd say it felt lovely.
And somebody else was just lashing the gear from the fridge on the table. An honest mistake. Why would there be vag yogurt in the fridge?
That's a real thing to do, isn't it?
Is it, Cassie, though?
Apparently it is. Now, my mum never did it, but I've heard one of my friends told me that their mom used to dip face cloths in yogurt and keep them in the freezer or the fridge for the inevitable yeast infections.
Fascinating.
I mean,
now somebody's asking how one makes vag yogurt, and I'll tell you, Jasmine, you just use it on your vag when you have thrush, and that's what makes it vag yogurt, pretty much. I thought there was some question. It's just natural yogurt.
Sarah, tampon dipped in yogurt. No!
Jesus, that sounds like sweet relief.
Although, I'm not a Mr. Freeze. So a Mr. Freeze slid up there.
Fine. I mean, I haven't had thrush in a long time, but the way it can be very satisfying, even if it is a real pain in the vag.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's for all those who haven't, I'm sure.
No man has spoken in the WhatsApp in ages. Oh, wait, there, Declan Brave. Oh, handle there, Harry.
I gave an ex-boyfriend thrush from my own. This is I'm sorry about today.
So
now.
I think the
we've
worry
gone too far.
I think the worry that we had was that she may have been double dipping with the Fage on her Vag. Basically,
someone had definitely eaten that yogurt. Like someone had.
Nobody, I think, knew whether she meant that she had been like putting it on. I'm doing the actions, putting it on, and then taking it back and just replacing and putting it back in the fridge, or was it that she was using it and then double dipping?
Yeah,
I think neither would have been great though.
Although I can't imagine getting the satisfaction out of a small teaspoon that I would just out of hand scooping it and then like smacking it on. Sorry, Sarah.
Hiya, Sarah.
Sarah related to that anyway.
That's so funny.
You know what I'm saying though. Absolutely glorious.
Well, that's
the cooling flavour.
We've really
don't leave a tampon in the yogurt or it'll expand too much up there to get it up there. Oh yeah.
Fair point.
Fair.
I mean, I really think even just chilling a tampon would do nicely.
This whole thing.
Okay. Have you got some more there for us?
Well, I just have tons of reviews, but then no, not really. It's just that this appeared to be a real fucking thing, and I think for some people, like what I believe in my heart of hearts is that this started out as a joke by this guy, right? And then he, because it's the internet, found a family, much like ourselves, of like weirdos. Yeah, and he was like, oh, now I have a thing, and I guess maybe it was a joke for him at the start, maybe it wasn't. Anyway, he's embedded into it now fully. So he did a couple of videos of making a mojito. He didn't even call it anything.
The harvesting?
No, not the harvesting, but there was
one
of the reviews, very irate gentleman who was annoyed with the directions of getting the cum into the small shot glass in the first place. He said that was near impossible. He said he was getting over it, beyond it. And he just said the vessel was just too small. Anyway, so no, that's my little nugget of. Anyway, we went a little disgusting, but what I did have.
We went a little disgusting.
I did have a small creep of the weed.
People are extremely triggered by this one.
And the weed tampons.
Oh, delish.
Queef dive. Yeah, could be that. Yeah. Last week, didn't we talk about?
Didn't we talk about the queef dive?
Yeah, we did.
I've got a creep of the week that people may find slightly less objectionable than that story.
Whatever.
Okay, I'll just give you the headline and you guys can yay or nay whether you need to hear more about this person. So Berlin authorities placed children with pedophiles for 30 years.
What the fuck is this?
Was this the one you were going to talk about?
No, not at all. I'm allergic to this. You keep going towards the children. I'm actively trying to get away from
the sad stories involving
It's not my fault. People send them to me. But this one, absolutely horrific, because you would assume that this was some terrible mistake.
Yes.
Or a bureaucratic blunder.
No.
Maybe they thought they were replacing them with men called Peter File. Hark back to the IT crowd, which is sad because we can't really enjoy it anymore.
Why?
Glinner, fuckface, Linehan, cunt. Thank you, Declan.
Sorry.
Yeah. But you know what? I always think with this one, a lot of other people were a part of that. And it is a shame to just negate it because of this one grim asshole.
My favourite guy in that was...
But Peter File, anyway, was one of the best ever scenes in it. So anyway, so it's called the Kentler Project, and it was in West Berlin, and they routinely placed homeless children with paedophile men, assuming they'd make ideal foster parents. And a study has now found that this went on for decades, starting with a man called, no offense to our lovely lads, we love you guys, Professor Helmut Kentler.
Yeah, I'd say now, king of the pedos himself. No doubt.
Oh my God.
Was he one of those activists that were like, no harm?
He said these men would make especially loving foster parents. Kentler.
So were they convicted? I mean, were they acknowledged as being deaf? I mean, did they know for sure, or did they?
You're right. Yeah, he knew. He was basically seeking out pedophiles to give kids to, because he believed that sexual contact between adults and children was harmless, and that, I think he was taking the translation of pedophile very, very literally, of a lover of children.
Yeah, he was obviously one himself. I mean, no doubt about that.
Well, that like he was really like, do you remember that other creep we had like a couple of months ago, with the guy who went to the island and visited with all the tribes and adopted like 400 kids? He feels like one of those kind of that ilk, all right. Like he was in a leading position at a center for educational research. Why are they always in leading positions? Like,
because
what the fuck?
They're men, they just walk into them.
But it's really, really, like, I'm just like, why is this so bloody prevalent? Like, for fuck's sake. Like, all Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein and their whole crowd. Like,
I don't know.
Honestly, it is so fucking bananas. People are just in the
side chat, files here. Van Gogh
ruining various men. Van Gogh that girl that he was obsessed with was fucking young, I think.
Really?
Wasn't she his cousin as well? I think he was doing a kind of a twofold there. But anyway, yeah, somebody's like the patriarchy. That's why. I mean, it's just freaking batshit. So that's a creep of the week that'll steer us away from cum for a minute. I have some like stuff, but what do you guys have?
I have some stories that I learned on TikTok, and then I went to see whether they were true or not.
Please come into the DMs from our Instagram account.
No, I've just been spending an awful lot of time on TikTok, and it's very entertaining for something that's full of children. That sounded really wrong. Really wrong.
Our own little Peter file here.
Hello, Peter. Welcome to the chat.
I'm far too old for TikTok is what I mean, but I have the sensibilities and the humor of children, so I'm enjoying their content. I find it
I'm
going to start make this go. Anyway, so I was on TikTok and I heard this story. First of all, my favorite TikTok of all time, nobody asked, is the story of the vet tech of the woman.
Please tell us. Please show us. Please share your screen.
Oh, let me see if I can find it. This is just.
She sent this to me and Sophie, and she was so disappointed with our lack of reaction.
It was just, you were like, grand. You were like, oh yeah, that's funny. I was like, that is the funniest thing I've ever in my life seen or heard, and I appreciate it for its beauty.
And we were so unmoved, like.
So
unmoved.
My hands were full. I couldn't give you the full texty. Okay, my hands were full of children. Sorry to bring it back to them.
I don't know. Oh my gosh.
Careful with the sharing, guys. What's happening here, Sarah Lally?
Are they sharing yogurty tampons? Because I would say yes, be careful with that.
Yogurty It's a once and bin situation rather than a secondary use, I would say.
Yeah, because then you're into this fucking like a spit roast of fucking thrush, you giving thrush to the tampons giving the thrush back to you, and on, like Inception for fucking vag issues.
It's
Inception for thrush.
This is asking.
I'm just waiting for someone to do a good play there now on Inception for thrush.
Declan.
Yeah, Declan, you're
never not good. Never not good.
Yeah.
Hold on now. Will this allow me to share
Christopher Nolan. There's definitely something in Chris Nolan.
He says, sad face.
Thrush pit. Where all Mosher's gonna die. Mary. What about Christopher in your Holin? Inception. Chris Nolan. Anyway. Cassie, what's going on?
It's asking me for my system preferences, security, and privacy to grant access. Oh my God, why is this so difficult?
Itchception! Harry. Other Harry. Well done.
Very good.
Cassie, could
cool running slow clap for you, other Harry.
Could do it if you're having a.
Yeah, maybe that's going to be the right
Will I do my sleep deprivation nation?
No, hold on. I might just send you the thing that you can share screen, and then I'll get back to my story.
Oh yeah, do it to Jen because my WhatsApp on my desktop's not working for someone.
Oh, and you can't do it to me because I am on someone else's laptop.
Hold on, I'll do it to you here. Oh no, your name's Harry Delaney. There, you should get a message now in the chat.
Did you see it?
Can you tell what it is yet?
It's to you.
I can't see.
It's to me. All right, hang on. Here we go. Now, into my share screen. Nobody judge me. Not my computer. Where do we get there again? Here we go. Ba-ba-da. Share screen. That's the one. And into
this, the greatest. Everybody. This is the funniest TikTok I've ever seen.
Is he hungry?
Oh, you need sound, Jen.
I thought the sound made it literally less funny the first time you shared it.
Okay, guys, I'm needing a bit of, I'm screen sharing, but I don't see the option. It didn't crop up to give you, nothing is ever more, hang on. Sophie, can you try it with yours and see if it just automatically does the sound?
This is so telling, Cassie. You're too old for TikTok. You're using Facebook to share a TikTok.
No, I just Googled it and it came up as a Facebook, and I didn't want to waste any fucking time. Sorry, chat's bop and everyone agrees with me. It's the funniest TikTok in the whole fucking world. I need people to see it.
Sophie, try.
Okay, hang on. I've just been handed a baby. And
hold on. I think I have it working. Am I working?
Yes, something's happening.
Oh my God, this is it.
Now wait,
my tit is so out. Just give me a minute.
Wait.
It's just Sophie and then Cassie's screen. I have side by side here. Sophie's tit. No noise. I'm getting no noise.
Is there no sound? What if I plug my headphones out? Did we not do this before?
Try again.
Story time. Is that working?
Yes.
Okay. Guys, this is the greatest gift I'm ever going to give to you.
Fucking better be.
I'm a vet tech, and one time I was grooming this lady for an appointment with her little dog who was covered in bugs. I searched this dog high and low for bugs, couldn't find a single one. So I said, ma'am, can you please point out these bugs to me? She said, oh my gosh, can't you see them? They're right on his belly. She showed me her dog's nipples and proceeded to try to rip them off. I said, ma'am, no, stop. Those are his nipples. She said, there's no way he's a boy. Ma'am, that doesn't mean he doesn't have nipples. Those are definitely his nipples. Notice how they're so symmetrical. She said, no, there's no way he's the boy. I said, ma'am, doesn't your husband have nipples?
Oh, it is good.
It is good. That is good, Cassie.
Funny.
Okay.
Oh, God, that is funny.
I've watched that, I'd say, 400 times and stop getting funny.
Oh,
it is immensely.
It is good.
Give us your children's on TikTok gear.
So I was on TikTok just looking for extra content, and they always, so obviously they like.
It turned out that she was a pedophile.
That's it.
Look at you.
I have cancelled the creep show.
Boobing a newborn. She has a huge boner right now. She squirted all over her stool.
I am literally going to sue you, Jen.
Harry Delaney.
You haven't been sued in 2020 yet.
True. I've been sued twice.
3 times a charm. So I was listening to this story on TikTok, but like people.
TikTok.
Oh, Cassie.
I will end this chat. I will lock the doors and you will not get in tomorrow. There was this story, someone like they lip sync these stories as they're doing their makeup. So like they're totally taken out of context. So someone was just like doing their makeup to a story of a man who posted himself for a YouTube prank to his neighbor's house. And his neighbor went to pick up the package and dropped it and heard a crash and was like, oh shit, I'll just pretend the postman dropped it and broke. So he left it in the garage.
Sorry, a human.
He didn't know the neighbor didn't know there was a human in it. And when he tried to pick up the box, he like toppled it over and he heard a crash, like a crack. And he was like, oh fuck. So he kind of rolled it into his garage and was like, I'll leave it there. And when he comes to collect it, I'll pretend that it was already broken. But apparently it was his neighbor in the box and the crack was his neck cracking. So I was like, fucking hell. There's a story for the creep dive. I best look into that. Anyway, turns out loads of people have posted themselves in boxes. I know we talked about the baby mail service, but like loads.
Yeah, but this reminds me of Niagara Falls.
Very similar, right?
Mm.
Anyway, found loads of really boring stories of people who nearly died when they post themselves, including this one guy who was in a box for like 63 hours. Big regret.
Oh,
And he said the box was too thick to actually poke a hole in it to breathe. You'd think you'd poke a hole in your box before you fucking got into it.
Where was he going? I mean, was he posting?
One guy was going to Australia.
Oh,
anyway,
jolly.
But I was like literally saving airfare.
Yeah, but like I mean, it's going to be a heavy box. So I can't imagine.
Lads,
save that much money.
X-ray. It's not like you can just post whatever the fuck you want.
Well, no, because there was one back in like 2013 that a man did successfully post himself, and he only got caught at the very last bit of the journey when he was in his destination. So
what are they being posted? Like huge,
still caught.
Huge crates. And then there was a guy, another fella who had successfully escaped from prison because he got into the mail room and got into a box, and there was a headline called "The Crate Escape," and it was just
very good.
Very, very good. Anyway, this story that I heard on TikTok turns out, anyway, I think it's not true. I think it references the story I'm about to tell you from Creepypasta. So a package marked "Return to Sender." My neighbor is one of those annoying wannabe YouTube personalities. Over the years, I've seen him cough out cinnamon, lay flat on the hood of his car as it slowly creeps down the driveway, and douse himself in lukewarm water, while screaming epic whim, epic fail, or fuck epic maintenance of the status quo for all I know. It can get tiring to watch him go about his shenanigans in the pursuit of viral fame. So when he knocked on my door the other day, told me he was going away for a few weeks and asked me to get his mail, honestly, it was a relief. I can't explain the peace of mind I had knowing I didn't have to brace myself for any of his stupidity for his while. I was always afraid his stunts would wind up bleeding over into my life. Things were pretty normal for the first couple of days. He received a few bills, a bit of spam, and what I could only assume was a birthday card. Then one evening I got home to find a cardboard box waiting on his front porch. In big lead letters, it was written "Return to Sender." I'm no small fry, but I admit I had trouble lifting the box on my own. It was really heavy.
No way you could. You could never lift that box.
No. Lugging it across the road to my house was even harder, and I quickly realized there was no way I was going to drag it up the stairs and through my front door. I decided I'd leave his package in my garage. It wasn't like I kept my car in there. The garage door was a piece of shit that refused to open with a good tug and a whack. It was less trouble just leaving the car in the driveway than it was to fight with the garage door every morning and night. In hindsight, I should have set the package down while I struggled to open the tricky door, but you know how it is when you've got a good grip on something, no point in setting it down if you don't have to. It was as I kicked the door for the third time that I lost my grip on the package and it fell to the ground. I heard a crack inside. Shit, I cursed. I hope I hadn't broken anything important, but figured I just wouldn't tell my neighbor about it and let him assume the break happened en route. Hands-free, I finally managed to get the garage door unstuck, and boy did it screech in protest as it rolled up and over me. I dragged the box the rest of the way, setting it up in the corner for whenever my neighbor would come back to claim it. And then I forgot all about it until a few days passed. I'm not exactly how long it took for the smell to waft in and crack from under the garage to the house door, but it came in slow progression. It was a sickly sweet odor, similar to a skunk, and for the first few days I smelled it. I genuinely assumed that's exactly what it was. Roadkill that had left its mark on my house. It was only when I realized the scent was growing more intense instead of fading away that I went looking for a source. That's when I opened the garage door, and that's when the odor knocked me back. The culprit wasn't hard to identify. The only change in my garage was the box in the corner. I remember thinking it must have been one of those meat of the month subscription boxes. The meat must have gone rancid from being left out of the fridge for so long. how much meat.
Totally fascinated by what that smell smells like. They say it's totally unique.
Yeah, I say just very, very unpleasant.
Sickly
I would
sweet,
love to
they're
smell
saying
it.
in the chat. I kind of get what, it's very unpleasant, Andrea says, as if she fucking knows what rotting human flesh might smell like.
Suspicious there now, Andrea.
Anyway.
Do you know, do you remember in the case, remember we were doing the Casey Anthony case last week? And we were talking a lot about what?
She said that Andrea is a CS.
Oh,
is a what?
What does it smell like? If you keep the placenta.
Sorry, Andrea, how long have you been listening to this podcast and you've just now chimed in to tell us you were a CSI? This isn't your first rodeo.
No. Not anymore. More. I was for a few years over in the UK. I won't say in case they ever tell any good stories. But
we will never tell anyone anything.
Oh, Anna, hi! We were in a book club together. Amazing. There's an MFM book club. Sorry.
Woohoo!
But I'll tell you a quick story about the smell of a dead body. So someone was digging up a ditch to make a new road before, and they happened upon a body that was wrapped in a blanket, like stuck in the ditch. They think it had been there for about at least 25 years and probably a bit longer. But the smell.
No, it did not have a smell after 25
years. It really
years.
did.
Oh my God.
A few blankets and plastic. Someone 100% got away with murder. But it was it kind of gets up your nose. It's like a greasy kind of a rotting meat smell kind of.
Do you think it's different to, what do they say, pork is in terms of flesh, do you think it smells unique, different?
I think it's probably fairly similar to pork. I know that, so I did my master's in forensics and I did my thesis on burning bodies and...
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, all your muscles contract when you get burned, so all bodies that have been burned usually end up, it's called the pugilistic pose, where they have all their muscles contract and your neck goes back and your arms come up so you look like a boxer. That's what pugilistic pose.
Wow.
Man.
Would that be, the Pompeii bodies, I guess they weren't burnt, but I guess it was having a similar heat kind of reaction.
Yeah.
They look a little...
muscles contract and pull your bones.
That's right. And then the wanking man, of course.
Absolutely. They think that if you just say you chop someone's arm, if you stab someone, it kind of cuts the muscle. So when you do get burned, you can tell if someone was maybe stabbed or cut up before or after burning, because the muscles don't contract if they're cut. Yeah.
Andrea, quick question regarding the 25-year-old dead body. What age was this person? And did you get to the bottom of it?
No, we never did. They did a special of it, I think, on the TV. They wanted to find out who it was. It was on the BBC or something. But basically, I think they were, I don't know how old they were. They were an adult anyway. But the smell, it gets everywhere and you have to shower most of the time to get rid of it.
I'm amazed that it's still after that long.
Yeah.
Andrea, amazing.
Thanks.
I wanted I have to think, I can't think about, I have 1,000 questions for you and I can't think of
can we do it? Andrea, are you based in Dublin?
Yes, I am.
Would you come in for a creep time with me and tell us all about dead bodies?
Would you, Andrea? We'll buy you a dinner.
Yeah.
Woo! And then we'll talk about it.
I love food. That's great.
Boom. Thanks, Andrea.
Oh my God.
Guys, I feel so popular.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Thank you.
Clap time. That is a real gem. Thanks, Andrea. Wow.
How will we find Andrea? How will we find her, Kathy?
Andrea, you can message the Instagram and we'll set that up.
Oh yeah, sound.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Amazing.
That is awesome.
Kathy, back to the man.
Okay, back in the Zoom.
Back into the man in the box in the garage, but we don't know it's the man in the box yet. I realise now that I really spoiled the story by talking about how I came across it. Anyway,
I thought of that.
So
we already know how this ends.
The meat must have gone rancid from being left out of the fridge for so long.
I love the sound of a meat of the month club. Here's a meat of the month.
We were actually talking about this, and our Creep Dive fans are the most helpful people we've come across in this whole entirety of the lockdown. Does anyone have a veg subscription box that includes Jerusalem artichokes? Because I just can't get them anywhere.
This is
just putting that out there.
Just cancel her.
I'd say there's a lot of Dublin 8 heads who are going to know where to get a Jerusalem artichoke. I'll just leave that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so they're delicious, roasted, gents. So the meat must have gone rancid from being left out of the fridge for so long. How much meat could there have been in the box to have been so large and heavy? An entire freaking cow? I covered my nose as I approached the box, a pair of scissors in my hand. I probably wouldn't have needed them to open it, as it had become soggy enough at the bottom to poke through with a finger. But I wasn't about to poke my finger into spoiled meat juices. That soggy bottom was the reason I had to open the box in the first place. If I tried to drag it out whole, everything would spill onto the floor. Jesus. I was going to have to dump the pieces of meat one garbage bag at a time and take them down to the dumpster, a process I wasn't looking forward to. My scissors tore through the tape along the top of the cardboard box. I thought the smell couldn't get any worse, but as I flipped the flaps open, I discovered a whole new gamut of stink. It wasn't like opening a burning oven. Instead of a heat wave, I was met with waves of piss, sweat, shit, and putrefaction.
All of the smells.
It was so bad that I staggered back and had to force down the puke, begging to guzzle out of me. I don't think I could have handled that scent mingling with the horrors coming out of the box. I'm not ashamed to admit I ran out the door for a breath of fresh air, but in the short time I'd spent in the garage, the smell had become so ingrained in the fabric of my clothes that it clung to me like a shadow. Nothing I tried could keep the smell out of my nostrils. Not air fresheners, not a face mask, not 3 showers and a change of clothes. Every second that box lay open in my garage was another second the smell was allowed a foothold into my home. I had to bite the bullet. I returned to the garage, the flaps of the box still open, as though inviting me to look. I was prepared, a clothespin pinning my nostrils shut, a garbage bag in one hand, the strongest cleaner I could find in the other, and long rubber gloves to keep my skin from having to touch what was inside. But as it turns out, I needed none of those things. I wouldn't have to touch or clean the contents of the box. I would only have to suffer the nightmares every night. You see, there was meat in that box, but it didn't come from a cow or pig. No, it was worse than that. It was my neighbor, dead, still in one piece, but dead. I called the cops and naturally they took me in for interrogation. It's kind of hard not to suspect the man with the corpse in his garage after all. Thankfully, they soon realized I wasn't involved. My DNA might have been all over that box. The smell might have left a mark throughout my house, but there was one piece of irrefutable evidence in my neighbor's own hands that proved my innocence, a vlogging camera. They showed me the footage only once. I'm not sure if they were allowed to or if they felt so bad for me they figured it couldn't hurt. Either way, I saw it. My neighbor was sitting in the box outside of a shipping facility, laughing as he told the world how he was going to mail himself across state lines. He brought pee bottles, food, a pillow, and a few flashlights. His friend, a guy I'd seen at his places several times, helped deal with the stunts and closed the lid, presumably dropped him off for shipment. Throughout the next couple of hours or days, I'm honestly not sure, my neighbor recorded a few short clips about his progress. I think I'm in a truck now, I can feel it moving. Must be in the warehouse, pretty warm here. Still got plenty of food, that kind of stuff. And then on the last entry, the box toppled over. He broke his neck and that was it. The camera recorded until either the memory card got too full or the battery died. There's one thing I didn't tell the police after they showed me the video. One thing I heard in the footage that will haunt me to the day I die. Just after the tumble that broke his neck, I heard the familiar screeching sound of my garage door.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. That's so it was manslaughter.
Well, I mean, that's on Reddit. So, like, that's entirely untrue. Like, there was just no way that, there's no way that was true. But there was a blogger who did successfully mail himself for a YouTube prank.
Yes.
From where to where?
Let me bring this one up now.
Hell Swan.
In the meantime, do you want me to tell you about what this whole story reminded me of? Seeing a small snippet of a food show. And it was this, do you ever hear of this cheese I've just brought up here? It's called Casu Marzu. Right? It's an Italian, like a pecorino. But in order to make it delicious, what they do is they allow larvae to kind of burrow into the cheese, and the larvae's digestive juices sort of add to the kind of maturing cheese. And these fuckers in Sardinia eat this maggot cheese with all the maggots alive in it at the same time. Yeah, Google it. It's called Casu Marzu, and you'll see all these alphalas with a very small glass of red wine and a little cracker and a maggot full of cheese.
I don't know, maggot.
But it looks probably delicious. Like, why else would they be eating it?
I think it's the movement, Soph. I think it's that gives me the willies. Like the fact, often you might see like someone eating a live octopus, and then the suckers sucking onto their face, and then they suck it. You might have seen that.
Yeah.
And it might have been put off a bit. I prefer it to be dead
than eating maggots.
Yeah, not alive. I'm 100% on board for the insect eating. Our next movement, by the way. I can't wait for that. Vag yogurt is more appealing, says Jennifer. I would go vag yogurt over a cheese full of maggots. Alive ones myself, yeah. They are, yeah, it's amazing. I think they are alive. Yeah, definitely are alive. Anyway. What did you find, Cass? Are you looking for something?
Yeah, Kel Swan is his name. He was 24 in 2017. He apparently posted himself from their flat to their flat from a London post office.
Where was
where the flat was going. Oh God, they really stretch these out.
I bet you it was
like 16 hours inside the box. And he arrived back at the flat without being discovered.
I bet you this was sex related.
Well, apparently it was the most insane challenge I've ever done. YouTubers are kind of unbearable.
Disgusting. They're awful.
We're about to become them.
We're taking our show to a new medium. I mean, we're awful people too, like total fucking narcissists. Here we are, another 14 weeks later, still insisting these people hang out with us.
What are you talking about? We're delivering in some. Do you know what's the best crack is when you kind of prepare a bit of story and then other things come to you as you're doing the chat.
Absolutely. Anyway,
Cassie, thank you for that. That was disgusting.
Anytime. There's plenty more weird stuff on TikTok. But if you're on TikTok and you come across that particular weird story, there is no truth to it.
Cassie.
There's also this fantastic filter.
Peter File Delaney.
Whatever. Do you know that even people believed that Kel Swan thing was just a hoax?
It definitely is. You cannot post yourself, surely.
And the box looks absolutely like it's ragged.
Someone just stood outside the box and shook it as he filmed himself.
Yeah. What a ridiculous use of your time, Kel Swan.
There's this other
Kel Surprise, you're an idiot.
There is this other TikTok thing as well called automatic writing, which is where people go into a trance and allow spirits to write through them.
This is
okay, TikTok didn't invent that, okay?
I know, but like loads of people are doing it on TikTok, and there's a TikTok filter that apparently picks up like the spirits and the movement in the room.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. I did it earlier on and there was something on this chair.
Oh.
What was it?
It just comes up as like a...
It was an old guy called Peter File.
Terrible.
Okay,
anyway,
Sophie, absolutely crazy. Poor Sonny. Luckily, he can't hear us instead.
Yeah,
you're all right, Sonny.
Stand a word. That was great. Jeez, I mean, we got so disgusting there that like the story I have prepped for the main episode tomorrow would have fit in so well here, but I've got to do it. I can't.
Okay,
like
fine.
It's just only in that it's so extremely disgusting.
It's too disgusting.
It's cannot wait.
Disgusting. I've got a little something to see us out if we want.
Love that.
I'm obviously having a very nice time. Never ever sleeping a full night at the moment. It's chronic. Lots of people helpfully commenting. Well, you know, sleep deprivation is used as an instrument of torture.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't need to tell me that at all. I'm experiencing it at all times right in front of you. So anyway, definitely. Like I'm just hitting this point of like, what?
I don't know if this is relation to what you said. Poor selves. Exactly. Said,
yes.
Right. Thanks, I'm cured.
Oh right. Oh yeah. So anyway, I just feel like I'm just worn down to a little kind of nub of a person, like at this point. Oh.
Yeah.
So you want to tell the story. Fine. Seb, do you fancy taking him for
bye. Seb, take the baby. Bye, Sonny G.
I'm just going to peace out.
Peace.
Oh.
See you, kiddo.
Anyway, I'm just hitting the point of just being extremely compromised by the lack of sleep at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know. I think I was telling you about just introducing myself as the wrong name there a few weeks ago, and then having to row back and be like, sorry, actually my name's Sophie. I don't know why that came out. So it's just rough as guts. And there's like loads of brilliant articles online, literally like lack of sleep. Here's why lack of sleep is literally killing you, and all this kind of shit.
Real helpful stuff like that.
Yeah, so you're already just like fucking crushed by the tiredness, and then they're just here telling you about how it's been linked to a host of diseases, including Alzheimer's and cancer and diabetes and obesity and heart disease and stroke and hyperglycemia and poor mental health. And I agree. I agree with all of this. I actually feel most specifically like I do have like a kind of a mild temporary sort of Alzheimer's at the moment.
Maybe you have brain yeast.
Yeah,
I have
thrush of the mind.
I do have thrush of the mind. It's true. Like I'm so friggin' what did I introduce myself as? Can anyone remember what the name was?
It was Terry.
Remember, it was Terry, and it was because I was thinking about somebody called Terry, and accidentally was like, "I'm Terry." Anyway, so all this sleep deprivation station got me thinking about, well, like what kind of slow death is it bringing about, and then it kind of reminded me of this really funny story that we actually told on Mother Pod like over 2 years ago. And it were just reminding me of like the fucking stupidest stuff that you do when you're so sleep deprived. And like, I've never identified so intensely with a person like in a news story ever as I have with the mother, star of this news article from 2015. Mother forgets infant in the midst of donut crawl. Do you remember this, Jen?
No, please. I was probably in the midst of my own
donut crawl.
Mind. Yeah,
and like
thrush of the mind, donut crawl.
Thrush of the mind is too amazing. So anyway, it's basically like they got a notion, and I so respect this notion. They just needed a fucking really good donut, you know? And so it's this girl and her baby is like 5 months old. Snap. Mine's 4.5 months. She and her cousin went to the Golden Donut in San Diego. And when she discovered that they didn't have the very specific donut that she was after, she was like, no, I want the donut experience that I have promised myself. Like, we've all been there. And so she strolls on to another donut shop with the cousin. No baby. Left the baby in the original donut shop. Yes.
I mean, amazing.
I mean, who doesn't relate?
Everybody relates. If there was another mother in that donut shop, she would have just casually grabbed a hold of that buggy and just kept the rhythm of the push going.
Just kept
the
pushing.
Eventual arrival of the
just
hysterical
rocking.
Real mother returns.
Yeah, they basically, the child was in a car seat, and she just put her up on a table, and then just in the hot haze, just been like, donut.
Someone saying
donut.
Whatever about the mother, but the cousin, it's the cousin's
fault. The cousin has no excuse.
Fault.
It's true, unless the cousin perhaps had a 3-month-old or something. But anyway, I mean, the baby was returned to her, obviously, safe and sound. They went on to the next donut shop. Presumably, once they got the donut, she was able to focus and think clearly enough to be like, where is my baby? And go back to the...
She had finished the entire donut before allowed her then.
I mean, they did tell police that her and the cousin got confused about who was supposed to be watching the baby at the first shop.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I do understand this. I get it though, because like sometimes now at the moment with Seb and I, like, because we're getting used to having an extra kid around, and like there's definitely like there's just a kind of an ongoing joke of like, I thought you had them going on, and like, but I'm so weakened by sleep that like every time he does the I thought you had one bit, I'm like, what? I didn't, I thought you had, you know what I mean? It's fucking. It's pretty tiring, but it did make me think, could I get away with murder right now? And I did go on the hunt to see
how little anyone would qualify you as insane is what you need to know.
And to see if anyone has ever successfully
used
this as their defense. I can confirm.
Just before we go any further, is there like a specific person you want to murder right now? As your hair goes mad and you genuinely look insane.
Just couldn't look crazier. Hello.
Are we all safe? Are we in like? Can we have like a no murder pact?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to tell on each other, guys. Like that's what this fucking Patreon's about. Andrea's going to tell us how to dispose of the bodies. And like this,
yeah, imagine you have 156 built-in alibis.
So anyway, basically, no, this guy did not get away with the sleep deprivation defense, but he did try it. And hey Sarah,
go on. Distracted. Like
somebody just popped up for me. Anyway, I know. Sorry, keep her focused. Come on, Soph, you can do this. So he mounted. This is a man who murdered his partner and attempted to mount the old sleep deprivation defense. So he was in Australia. And
they always are. Except when they're not.
Except when they're not. And even when they're not, sometimes they just sound like they are, because that's pretty much the only accent I can not do. Anyway, basically, this guy fatally attacked his partner in their house in 2015. And it was basically he just had no plan, and he put her body in the car along with their 2 children who were sleeping, and then ran away. And that was just like, he just like aced out of there and was like, shit, what have I done? And just pissed off.
Well, that sounds almost mad enough to be
convincing.
Yeah,
maybe. So, I mean, obviously it's pretty gruesome. I think it was weird. Like, he may have been making some kind of bid to keep the kids safe while he ran away. I don't know. But anyway, neighbors, the older child beeped the horn until a neighbor came and got them.
You are just on a train ride into child hell. Every fucking story you tell these days.
Okay, well,
horrendous child relationship.
Just think of it this way:
pedophiles, and then you just ended us on a car full of alive children, and then one deceased.
And there's just a corpse in there with them.
That's not.
Mama's very tired. She's very tired. I don't know. I just think like my kids.
You're just in that zone.
They're torturing me, so now I'm just putting that on everyone else.
You're just there.
I'm in a zone.
You are.
Anyway, so this guy, Toby, pleaded guilty to manslaughter, but he was pleading not guilty to the offense of murder. And that was kind of what they were arguing, that he had, of course, committed this horrible crime, but that it was as a result of his mental state being so impaired by insomnia that he literally could not form the necessary intent to qualify this act as murder.
Right.
In the opening statement, the prosecutor was having none of it, and she was like, he definitely still had the mental capacity to kill. In that moment, he may have felt depressed, and he may have felt profoundly tired from a lack of sleep. However, he was still capable of knowing what he was doing and controlling what he was doing. So,
have you ever
felt like this? A strange thing happened. Are we going around the twist? So anyway, the defense meanwhile painted a picture of a loving couple who were working hard to raise the family, make ends meet, throw a couple of shrimp on the barbie, maybe do a bit of workout on the dick. So anyway, the prosecutor was like, he was capable of putting his little boys in the car with their mother, and he was capable of running off. I love running off as a phrase because it's just it's very light.
Ineffective.
So light compared to what
far
he's
you're going to get.
Here. Oh, he's running off. Oh. So anyway, in the end, he was found, yes, to be suffering mentally and whatnot. He was suffering with irritable outbursts of anger. I relate. He was indeed, there was a cumulative effect from the lack of sleep. They do say that sleep deprivation, when you're very sleep deprived, drunk people are more effectual than you are. Like,
really?
If you have a choice basically between, say, I don't know, like a drunk person or a very, very tired person driving the plane you're in, you want them to be drunk, not extremely tired.
That's
apparently
very interesting.
In tests and stuff. Yeah.
I often, with mine were small, used to drive around thinking I shouldn't be driving this car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
On the reg, I think that. But I also think that I should be allowed to do whatever I want in the car if the kids are screaming and crying, like, as in I should be allowed to mow down pedestrians if they're in my way.
That's fine.
And run stop signs and red lights. I just think that everyone who's got kids screaming,
it's unbelievably hellish.
We should not be accountable for anything that happens out there, guys.
And then they start.
That's why you cannot judge me for fucking a jar of piss away in the car park.
The least of your worries.
You, and then run off. So anyway, in the end, he was found guilty of murder. They weren't having any of the old "I'm very tired" defense.
Oh,
and I think this is such a good roundup, right? They were like, it's just inexcusable. And the sister of the woman, the victim, had been really pissed off when she heard that this defense was being used in court. And she was like, I feel we got justice. I have 4 children. So that makes it very hard. And I haven't had 6 or more hours sleep a night in the last 10 years. We all work and we do all that sort of stuff. So I don't believe it's an excuse. And I was like, Toby got very unlucky there. Like, you can't tell some woman who's got 4 kids that you were very tired, you murdered her sister. It's not going to work. It's not going to fly, Toby. It ain't going to fly. And thus ends. I'm so tired that my eyes are like piss holes in the snow. You know that feeling.
Oh, you're pulling it off with the sex working lipstick.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
the jar was not sealed.
Marvelous creep. What is this? Zoom. I now have just contracted drunk from your. I've just
your drunk is contracted from your drink.
It's the thrush of the mind, Cass.
What's happening next week?
What's happening?
All right, Jasmine, straight in.
So we're recording tomorrow, and we're going to record a video as well as a regular episode. So
this is still going ahead.
Zoom tomorrow. No Zoom next Thursday. But there'll be an alternative thing. But then we were saying that we enjoyed the Zoom, so we could do a monthly instead. It's just that we're going to get busier as time goes on, and people will be busier of a Thursday evening too. So
we think that you guys will stop showing up.
Yeah.
No, we won't.
Just us and Jasmine. So we're going to do that. So you'll have
we're definitely going to keep
and a monthly Zoom. So that's in fact more.
Yeah, we'll keep going in some capacity until we can do live shows in real life person again.
Yeah, exactamundo.
Yay!
So that's it, guys. Adios and goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.